Kevin Snell, followed by Cammie from Coeur d'Alene.
Chairman and committee, I'm Kevin Snell from Rigby, Idaho. I'm a father of 8, grandfather of 10, and have been in business, family business, my entire adult life. I believe in the principles of the Constitution and our founding fathers. And one of those founding principles was that this nation was built on families and the preservation of those families is the only way in which this country will survive. Many things have been mentioned already, and I don't want to reiterate, but I think that some of these things that we're engaged in are to undermine the protections of marriage and family. I have a property management business, and because of the testimony that has been given by those earlier, I'm actually quite nervous that because of my testimony today in opposition to this bill, because someone come and wanted to rent from me, and for whatever reason I didn't rent to them, would my testimony here be used against me in discrimination? And would I have to spend thousands of dollars in defense with no ill justice on my part? Could I afford that? No, I can't. I'm a one man. And one single claim, unfounded, but have to be defended in court, would be the ruin. Please, please vote against this. Thank you.
Are there questions? Thank you. Cammie from Coeur d'Alene. Let's put one more on deck here, and then we'll be about out of time for this morning. The last name is Lee. I can't read the first name. Anybody claim that? Glenn Lee? No, maybe not. At least they don't know what I'm talking about. So let me get one more here. Bonnie Sterling will be next. Go ahead. We got 4 minutes. I hope we can get 2 in 4
You
minutes.
bet. It's short. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Cammie Pavasic, and my family is actually 5th generation Idahoan. We settled with the first pioneers in Jefferson, Idaho, and I spent my early years in eastern Idaho in Pingree, Blackfoot, and Pocatello, where my family owns a potato farm. We moved to Boise, where I graduated from Capitol High School, and I attended both University of Idaho, go Vandals, and Boise State University, go Broncos. So I currently live in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So I am from the entire state. I have Idaho values in my bones, and my blood, and in my genes. I work hard. I've pulled myself up by my bootstraps. From feeding the cows on the farm to owning 2 businesses, one of which is a family theater called Prairie Dog Productions. I'm a community leader and volunteer, and I have volunteered for organizations like Cancer Kids Worldwide and the Treasure Valley United Way. I am not a second-class citizen. I am also not special, but I am equal, and I am valuable. I heard testimony today from some fancy Washington, D.C. attorneys about all the scary things that could happen if we pass HB 2. But we have 11 cities in our state who have passed these ordinances, And thanks to the testimony of the opposition, none of that has happened. And so we can look at past ordinances and know that everything will be fine and that our citizens will be protected. I will be protected. And I just want to make sure that people understand that I should be treated as a valuable part of Idaho's community and its heritage. I live, work, and love in this state. Please, Mr. Chairman and committee members, make my home state safe for me by passing HB 2. Thank you.
Other questions? Thank you. One last one for this morning. Bonnie Sterling. We've got just a couple of minutes.
Okay, I'll make it quick.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Bonnie Sterling, and I'm a mother of 11 children, and we've lived in this beautiful state for 22 years now. And I would like to state my opposition against HB 2. And it's primarily because as a Christian, I really feel like this would infringe on our rights. I know people have stated that it wouldn't, but it is an open door, and I firmly believe that at one point one day this would be used, as we've seen in many other states, to curtail the right of the Christian to live by their own conscience, to live with our ability to practice our religion as we see fit. Now, I personally have been discriminated against. At one point when we were building our house, I tried to rent, and being the mother of a large family, we only had 7 at the time. It was okay that we had cats and dogs, but we were not allowed to rent from this person's house. I simply sought someplace else to rent a house. I didn't take them to court. I didn't feel it was necessary. I just felt like, that's okay, we'll move on, we'll go somewhere else. I don't feel like this is simply a matter of discrimination. I do feel there's an agenda here. And I do feel that it will continue until the Christian is pushed to the sidelines. We've all experienced discrimination at some point in time. I feel like the laws that are on the books right now in Idaho are complete enough to protect any Idahoan fairly the way they are right now. And I don't feel it's necessary to add HB 2 that would minimalize and marginalize my belief system and my children's belief system and my ability to teach my children fairly. And that's all. Thank you very much.
Are there questions? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Hold on. Representative McCrosty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Ms. Sterling, thank you for taking the time to testify before us today. Just one final question, as I know we're all kind of in a hurry, but I want you to take your time in answering this.
Sure.
Do you think that the gay and lesbian Christians or transgender Christians who have testified before this body today have the same rights that you do?
Yes, I do. I feel they firmly have the same rights that we do. And I would stick up for anybody else's rights as well. And I feel like most Christians in this room, I can't speak for everybody, but the ones that I am familiar with, I would treat anybody I know just the same way. I would not discriminate. But I would stand by someone's right as a business owner to discriminate. For instance, if I owned a Christian bookstore and I felt like someone's belief system was contrary to what my bookstore stood for, I would stand by that person. Just for the same reason, I could not walk into Abercrombie and Fitch and get a job there. I can almost guarantee they're not going to hire a middle-aged, overweight woman to sell their products. That's okay. It doesn't bother me. I will look elsewhere for a job. And so I firmly believe that anybody in this room would be willing to stand for the rights that are on the books right now to protect your rights as a homosexual. I would. However, I believe this bill is much more far-reaching than that. It goes way beyond that. infringing on my rights to choose to teach my children as I see fit and to run my business as I see fit. Thank you.
Further questions? Follow-up?
Representative Crosty?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Ms. Sterling,
Yes, sir.
two very quick questions.
Yes, sir.
Do you own a Christian bookstore?
I do not.
And do you want to work for Abercrombie & Fitch?
Actually, there have been times, I've thought, here's the thing, in Boise, I know at one point at the mall, there was a store called, I believe it was called 357, many, many, many years ago. It catered to sizes 357. I remember walking in there and being very much ignored when I went into that store. I'm sure they were thinking, she's not shopping for herself. So my whole point is, if I were to go in there and apply for a job, it would not offend me if they turned me down. I would look somewhere else. This bill would go beyond that and say, no, they don't have the right to do that and discriminate what is best for their business and say what is best for their business. And I think that would be bad for business in Idaho.
Thank you, committee members. Thank you for coming and testifying this morning.
Thank
we
you.
apologize that we've made a dent in this, but a very small dent. We have gotten to a number. We still have a very large number of people who desire to testify. We will reconvene here, committee, at 5 p.m. Come early, and we will stand. What's that? I'm not sure, but. You've got 30 seconds to get upstairs. We'll stand recess.
Welcome to Idaho in Session. Idaho in Session is sponsored by Don't Fail Idaho, the Idaho State Broadcasters Association, Union Pacific, with additional support from the Idaho Association of Counties, the Association of Idaho Cities, the Idaho Cable Telecommunications Association, and the Idaho Public Television Endowment.